Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a rousing welcome home to Katie Spotz.
As you may have heard, I did this little rowing gig across the Atlantic Ocean. This January 3rd, I set off from Dakar, Senegal, the most western point in Africa, rowing with 2 sets of oars, 4 iPods, 300 chocolate bars, until I reached Georgetown, Guyana in South America. But the success of this journey started several years back. All throughout my childhood, I was involved with sports from tennis, swim team, track, and soccer, but the one position that I seemed to excel at the most was the bench. At the same time I was studying abroad in Australia, something struck me that I wasn't aware of. And while I was studying over there in Melbourne, they were experiencing extreme drought. And coming from the Midwest, water was never something I had to worry about. I never had to worry about the quality of water. I never had to worry about not having enough. But in Melbourne, the issue was drought. So I saw restrictions on water, even when you can use or water a lawn, things like that I just wasn't aware of. So after finding out about water issues in Melbourne, it sparked a curiosity to see about water issues worldwide. And I was startled by what I found. I realized that over 1 billion people don't have access to safe drinking water, one of the most basic human needs. And that's how I combined them both and made it a row for water. As I was preparing, I also had lots of people who were concerned about this trip. I had some school classes that were a bit nervous about my crossing, so here's a letter from one school kid. Hello, Katie. I think your quest to row across the Atlantic Ocean has gone too far. You know, you could run into sharks and stuff. Besides, what gave you the idea to row a boat anyway? Why by yourself also? If I were you, I would at least go with someone else. So if your boat sunk, someone would get eaten first. That's why you shouldn't row alone, Justin. The number one question I seem to get is, what have I learned, and how has this changed me? This journey enabled me to do something for water, and now as a result, over 3,000 people will have access to safe drinking water. If there's one thing that I really want to share is that we're capable of doing much more than we think. Before I set off on this challenge, I didn't even know how to row. I didn't know how I would get there, and I just kept rowing. So we all have our oceans to cross, and with determination, I believe anything is truly possible. So thank you for sharing this journey with me.
More than 2,800 miles of open ocean. I mean, I guess the first question is just why? Why this? It's not like you had chase boats following you or anything. I mean, you were out there. Were you scared at times?
Oh gosh, yeah, there were so many hair-raising moments out there.
Like what?
I think one of the biggest one was just approaching land. As I came into South America, right along the coast, near the continental shelf where it jumps from 6,000 feet to 600, the waves and the wind were in opposition, and there were several times that I thought my boat would capsize.
And you actually had to strap yourself in.
Exactly.
Day and night, you would be strapped in.
Yep. When I was rowing, I had a harness, and then at night, everything needed to be capsize ready, so I was even strapped into my bed, so if I got hit by a wave, I would be able to withstand that.
And you rowed from Africa to South America, which is a much more difficult route. Other people who've done this tend to go kind of island to island.
With the island to island, you are really within the trade winds and trade currents.
And those winds help you move along.
Yep.
So you decided to go the tougher route.
Yeah, I really wanted to see or do a crossing from one continent to the next. I felt like that was a real, true cross.
And you raised $75,000 for charities that are dealing with clean drinking water.
Exactly. It's the Blue Planet Run, and they work all around the world to help communities gain access to safe drinking water.
It's remarkable what you did. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'd like to welcome home another Katie Spotz, who made history on Sunday, becoming the youngest person and the first woman to row alone across the Atlantic, more than 2,800 miles.
22-year-old Katie Spotz has cycled across the country, run through the Mojave Desert, and was the first to swim the length of the Allegheny River. But nothing compares to this.
Sounded like a good idea.
But on January 3rd, Katie Spotz hopped aboard the 19-foot Liv and cast off from Senegal, West Africa. She ended up in Georgetown, Guyana. There would be no watch boat, only a beacon and a radio.
How did you draw from your inner strength when there's no one else out there to help you? Well, it was kind of easy to be motivated in that once I was out there, there was nothing else to do but row.
And row she did, fueled by 500,000 calories of freeze-dried food.
We're having date night folder.
I was lucky to have some friends along the way.
A pod of dolphins.
They even were swimming right underneath and doing flips and all kinds of tricks. I felt like they were giving me my own personal show.
Katie was the show for 500,000 fans online, but she did. And in the process, she raised $75,000 for a group supplying clean drinking water to people worldwide.
More than anything, it's often ourselves that holds us back from doing things. So I think it's important to question that and challenge that.
Even if you're not facing an ocean alone.
Oh, it was amazing.
Michelle Miller, CBS News, New York.